everyone, this is Lisa Haven, and I've got a very important document about the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, that I need to share with you guys, and I believe it is going to be a true eye-opener. But it is a huge IMF secret that is going viral and a must-know one. Now, who is the IMF? Well, they are a powerful and manipulative organization known for monitoring the financial health of more than 185 countries across the globe. They establish money laws. They even provide bailouts to nations, and they have a lot of unprecedented power. Now, let me first go to the Wikipedia report and show you a little more on this organization. Then I'm going to take you to that viral secret about the IMF that we all need to know. All right, so here we are on Wikipedia, and the definition of IMF to them, it is an international organization headquartered out of Washington, D.C. Let's pause there for a moment. That means it's a bunch of foreigners working here in D.C., in our country. It's not some domestic or federalized thing. It is a bunch of foreigners working for the IMF, including some Americans as well. But this organization is staunchly New World Order. This is exactly what they push. And in fact, according to the Wikipedia, it is now 188 countries working to foster global monetary cooperation. I said 185 earlier, scratch that, I meant 188. But not only do they push a global monetary cooperation, but they secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and guess what? Here's a little bit of poop in the pie: reduce poverty around the world. The organization was formed in 1944 at the Bretton Woods Conference and came into existence in 1945 with 29 countries, and the goal of reconstructing, the international payment system. That is the IMF in a nutshell. Let me show you their board of directors. Here is their managing directors, and it's led for the most part by Christine Lagarde. I'm going to get into her a little more in a moment, but here are some of those you can see from all countries all across the world. One from the United States here. That's just a quick glance there. So let's get into the IMF documentation. All right, I had to fix the screen there. So here it is, the Articles of Agreement of the International Monetary Fund. This is their law book, so to speak, and the breakdown of what goes on. But I want to take you to one section on this, and I think you're going to find it very, very fascinating. But here it is, the privileges of the IMF, how they are exempt from a lot of the things that you and I have to deal with. It says immunity from the judicial process. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Immunity from other actions, immunity from archives, freedom of asset from restrictions, privilege for communications, immunity and privileges of officers and employee, and you guessed it, immunity from taxation. I'm going to get into all of that, but let's scroll down to page 26. All right, so here we are on page 26, and this is their immunity and privileges and lots of great information. But let's start here in section 3. They have immunity from the judicial process. The fund, its properties and its assets wherever located and by whoever held shall enjoy immunity from every form, not some, but every form of judicial process, except to the extent that it expressly waives its immunity for the purpose of any proceeding or by the terms of any contract. Now, I wish we kind of had that immunity. What is the judicial process? Let's pull up the definition, and this is just on the Merriam-Webster dictionary. The series of steps in the course of the administration of justice through the established system of courts. That's the short version. Here is the long version on encyclopedia.com, and it states the judicial process is set of interrelated procedures and rules for deciding disputes by an authoritative person or persons whose decisions are regularly obeyed. The disputes are to be decided according to a previously agreed upon set of procedures and in conformity with prescribed rules. As an incident or consequent of their dispute deciding functions, those who decide make authoritative statements on how the rules are to be applied. And these statements have a prospective, generalized impact on the behavior of many besides the immediate parties to the dispute. Hence, the judicial process is both a means of resolving disputes between indefinable and specific persons and a process for making public policies. Sorry, I meant identifiable and specified persons. Sorry for that misread there. But there is the introduction of judicial process. So there is none of that for the IMF. They are completely exempt. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, immunity from other action. What else are they immune from? Property and assets of the fund of the IMF, wherever located and by whoever holds them, shall be immune from search, requisition, confiscation, expropriation, and any other form of seizure by executive or legislative action. In other words, they say, screw the world. We can't be searched. We can't be have things confiscated. We can't have any of that. We're exempt. Can I exempt myself from executive orders or executive actions? That'd be great. Yet the IMF is exempt from any form of seizure from such actions. Immunity of archives. The archives of the IMF shall be inviolable, which means they shall never be broken or infringed upon. Freedom of assets from restrictions to the extent necessary to carry out the activities provided for in this agreement. All property and assets of the IMF shall be free from restrictions, regulations, controls of any nature. Wonderful. And anybody can't control them. They can do whatever the heck they want, apparently. Number 7, privilege of communications. The official communications of the IMF shall be accorded to members the same treatment, accorded by members the same treatment as the official communication of other members. Are they attempting to exempt themselves from the NSA? I don't know. I guess everybody else gets spies on, but they have that privilege, right? Number 8, immunities and privileges of officers and employees. All governors, directors, alternative, all these personnel, okay, of the IMF shall be immune from the legal process with respect to acts performed by them in their official capacity, except when the IMF waives this immunity. In other words, they're exempt from any kind of stuff that they do at the IMF. Not being local nationalists, because remember, many of them are foreigners, they shall be granted the same immunity from immigration restrictions, alien registration requirements, and national service obligations in the same facilities as regards exchange restrictions as are accorded by members to the representatives, officials, and employees of comparable rank of other members. In other words, if you're part of the IMF and you are a foreigner, you don't have to become an immigrant here in America. You are exempt. The third one, you shall be granted the same treatment in respect of traveling facilities and in accord with its members to representative officials. In other words, they get this high pass. If they're part of the IMF, they get special treatment. Why do they get special treatment? Even better than some of the people in our government. Why? They're foreigners running things from behind the scenes. Why? Because they're part of the New World Order agenda. Why? They're a globalist organization. But wait, it gets worse in just a moment. They have immunities from taxes. things. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now there's a little more deep. I'm going to get into this in a moment, but the IMF, its assets, property, income, and its operations are transactions authorized by the agreement shall be immune from all taxation and from all custom duties. No Social Security number, no Medicaid, no Obamacare. They don't have to pay these things. That fund shall also be immune from liability for the collection or payment of any tax or duty. No tax shall be levied on or in respect of salaries. Oh, this is, No taxation of any kind shall be levied on any obligation or security issued by the IMF, including any dividend or interest thereon by whosoever held, which discriminates against such obligation or security solely because of its origin, or the sole jurisdictional basis for such taxation is the place or currency in which it is issued, made payable or paid, or location of any office or place of business maintained by the fund. Let me expand on this a little bit. If you're a foreigner, which I showed you the list of directors, many of the people at the IMF are foreigners. You don't pay no taxes. You don't have to register. You don't have to be here on an immigration visa, so to speak. You're exempt from all of that. You don't have to, or they don't have to apply for, not an immigration visa, but they don't have to apply for citizenship here in America. They're exempt. They're exempt from judicial proceedings. They're exempt from law, basically, and they have their own rules because they have an IMF badge that makes it special. And they don't have to pay taxes. Now, what if you're a United States employee at the IMF? Do you have to pay taxes? Well, yes and no. Here's how it works in a nutshell, at least the way I understand it. If you are part of the IMF and you're an American citizen, well, you still pay taxes, but you pay it as it's your own business. Kind of like they don't take them out through the IMF. You have to go and file through your taxes to pay them yourself. Kind of like a private-owned business does. Similar to that. Now, with that in mind, here's what the IMF also does. If they're paying taxes, they pay them inflated salaries to compensate for that. How would you like that at your company? Let me pay you a little bit higher to compensate for the taxes that you have to pay the government. We'll pay you a little bit higher rate, okay? So they're getting away with it nonetheless. Here, you pay the government the taxes, but we'll increase your pay. Good to go. Good to go. Number 10, and this is the last one that I want to show you, application of article. Each member shall take such action as is necessary in its own territories for the purpose of making effective in terms of its own law the principles set forth in this article, and shall inform the IMF of the detailed action which it has taken. So these are the things, the 10 things that the IMF, or the 10 sections on their articles there, that they are exempt from doing. Yet me and you have to do those things. Now, about the IMF chief, Christine Lagarde, there are multiple reports, and I'll leave one below, of her telling everybody else to be a good girl and boy and pay their taxes. Yet she herself pays none whatsoever. Kind of ironic, isn't it? Someone's telling us to pay our taxes, yet she is exempt. And that is the IMF leader. But I wanted to show you this information because this is something that needs to go viral. Now, it has been known, but we need to make it more public of what these people are doing. They are pushing things like Obamacare on you and I, forcing us the criminal penalty if we don't buy that Obamacare product. If we don't buy Obamacare, we have to pay a penalty. That's like saying, okay, if you don't buy, this lipstick that I wear, then you have to pay a $10 royalty fee just for not buying it. But if you buy it, that's okay. That's what Obamacare is doing with Obamacare. They're doing that, we take out money for our Social Security numbers, for healthcare, for all kinds of different reasons. We pay our taxes. But yet these corrupt, evil, Illuminati, political, global elitists continually exempt themselves from things that they force on us. And it needs to go out. It needs to go viral. It needs to be spread out there because we can't just sit in the dark and allow these people to pee on us, so to speak. It needs to go viral. Just wanted to bring you that secret. And don't forget, if you like my channel here, hit that subscribe button and check me out. Lots of information, back as much as I can up with documentation. Also, a great cleanser for your body is getthetea.com. He's got a great tea that I personally take. Also, the colostrum. I use that. And if you have any UTI or stomach or issues down in your stomach area, it's very, very, very good, especially the powder. I personally take the pills. My husband takes the powder, and he really enjoys that. So check that out. Also, if you're not prepped with food, get stocked up now. I use foodforliberty.com/Haven. That is my preferred choice, but that is my recommendation. Lots of them out there, but get stored up with food, especially with the way things are headed. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning into my channel. This is Lisa Haven signing out.